Welcome. We are back with week number 2 of our Easter series, 3 weeks, 3 words. We are on the second week, so we're on our second word, and our word this week is interjection. So we will be exploring the story of God entering into the story of mankind. That is our plan this week. I'm going to start off with a verse from the Bible, some words from the Bible, which are in the book of Psalms, which is, if you remember the story of David and Goliath, David becomes king of Israel, but he wrote a bunch of songs and they get recorded in this book of poetry. Most of them we know are written by David, some we're not sure if they're him or someone else. But in Psalm 34, verse 18, it says this: "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit." Now, I don't know what your image of God is like. Some people, I imagine, picture him as non-existent. Some people picture him as far off. Some people have a picture of an old man in their head. All sorts of weird and wonderful images of God out there. For me, the thing that defines God is the idea of love. A God who cares about us and loves us deeply and passionately. We get the word passion from the Easter story. The passion is Jesus' journey to the cross. It's where this term passionate comes from. That we get an image of a God who deeply loves us, who is passionate about us, that would go through that for us. And we're confronted by an idea in the Bible of who God is, that he is fully God and fully human, that he is the full embodiment of God, and yet he is fully one of us. And it's a weird idea, and it's a complex idea to get our heads around, but God at the same time is Jesus himself. Jesus is at the same time fully God and fully human. And he cares. And I'm going to read, not from the Bible, but from another book by a guy called Philip Yancey, called What's So Amazing About Grace. If you are looking for a book, this is a beautiful book about who God is and what he's all about. I'm going to read a bit that talks about how, out of anyone in the whole of time, Jesus could have planned out his whole birth, could have planned out his whole life, but he chose to be born the way he did, and he chose to live the way he did, and he chose to die the way he did. And the idea that God doesn't care about us doesn't make sense if we think about God like that. So Philip Yancey writes this: "He was the only person in history able to plan his own birth. Yet he humbled himself, trading in a perfect heavenly body for a frail body of blood and sinew and cartilage and nerve cells. God can no longer be accused of being distant or being deaf to human suffering. Not only has God not plugged his ears, he suddenly took on ears. Literal eardrum, ossicle, cochlear human ears. God's Son heard firsthand the molecular vibrations of human groans." We have a God who loves us. We have a God who hears our pain and knows who we are. And we have a God who came to be with us. And I'll see you tomorrow.